is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
The student body has to drive 45 minutes to go to their games. You have a athletic department that clearly is not really showing that this is something that they are willing to try to make changes. The president, there was an article from Barry Jackson this week, came out, said that the president basically told Blake James, the AD, hey, sports, you're on your own. That's your thing. I don't know if that's true. It was in an article. To me, college football, you look at the powerhouse programs, Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, president, AD, head coach, same vision. Have all the same, they're aligned in their vision for what needs to happen, recruiting, budget, staff, whatever it means, that's what it takes. Miami doesn't have that. So I don't think it matters who the head coach is until you get a president and an AD and a coach together on the same page. I guess football doesn't matter. It matters to the alums, to the brotherhood, to you. But I don't know if it matters to the people making decisions with Miami. If they don't change.
There you go. And there he is, Manny Navarro. And,
How you doing?
It doesn't matter when you and I talk about it, but when Kirk Herbstreit, then it just
then all of a sudden it's real, right?
Yeah, now it's real, right? Funny, like it's something we've been talking about, and so now he brings it up, and I wonder what made them talk about this. I know and great job by Barry Jackson, got a little love nationally too on that article, and Lord knows Barry works hard enough as it is. So it's good for him to get a little love on that. I wonder what motivated them to talk about how difficult the situation is here athletically right now for the University of Miami.
Yeah, I don't know what prompted them to jump in on it, other than maybe a lot of complaining Miami Hurricanes fans, right? Maybe DMing Herbstreit and trying to get him to talk about this issue. Look, Miami for many years has been a big attention grabber for ESPN, right? The TV.
Yeah.
And so they helped bring ESPN a lot of dollars over the years. Now they're getting to that point, which we talked about last week on the show, is that, do people start to lose their passion for Miami football the same way they did for the Marlins, right? Where everybody just kind of gets turned off of, hey, this has been that apathy, right? Where this has been a shit show for too long. We're tired of watching the same thing over and over. Maybe that's where that came from. But I'll tell you, to me, Barry Jackson's article and what Herbstreit talked about, yes, those are things we've talked about for a long time here. I think the whole point, though, of all this conversation and what Manny Diaz said yesterday and sort of trying to retort, what ESPN was talking about, what Herbstreit were talking about was, ultimately, is there money to fire Manny Diaz and pay for the next coaching staff? Right. That's ultimately what everybody that's the bottom line here. Right. Are they going to go out and bring in and pay an experienced head coach? And that's not what Herbstreit talked about. That's not enough of what I think has been the conversation. And Manny turned it around on, hey, well, I got great resources here. Well, the resources aren't for you, Manny, that people want to see. They want to see it for getting you out of here. Right. And for paying for the next guy. So I just think, while it's been great that they're having this conversation and people are bringing attention to the fact that maybe football doesn't get enough of a priority in terms of using it to make the football program great. Mm-hmm. I just think that in a lot of ways we've been spinning our wheels here for a long time on this subject. And really, I don't know where the progress is because
there is no progress.
Yeah, we're just talking about it, right? Like there's nothing that's going to be done. And I still don't think anything's going to be done. Like I don't. I think Manny Diaz could very much turn this season around, go 8-4, and everybody's going to be like, all right, next recruiting class. Let's see what happens. Let's see what this next group of guys, what they do.
Right. So, it's funny. It's funny for me because Manny, by saying, well, they don't care about the program. It's, a lower standard. And well, there you go. Manny, you are that low standard. So in a way, he should feel insulted. Because by saying they don't care about the program, that's why they hired you, dude, because they don't care that much about the program. They don't need an elite coach at this point in time. They don't need elite offensive and defensive coordinators, which is something also they don't have. And after all of this has happened the last couple of days and over the weekend, did you hear any response at all from the administration? Did they feel as insulted as Manny was? Because
No,
I don't hear anything.
no, he's the only one that came out and said anything about it, right? And ultimately, he came to the defense of President Frank, who, for in all honesty, I mean, I don't know how many presidents really do. I mean, do we talk about the Alabama president, how much he cares about football? Do we talk about the Ohio State president? No, those aren't voices you regularly hear, right? They don't go out,
but their actions are what we see. And
right?
That's the difference between the. You are right. You don't really hear from them normally. Hell, although it was Jeremy Foley he was the AD at Florida, right? He wasn't the president.
No, these are all right.
Yeah, so no, I don't even think there's a school. I'm trying to think of a school president that I know his name or her name, because I always see them in the forefront, and actually I don't, now that I think about it.
It's athletic directors.
Yeah.
It's athletic directors,
Yeah.
It's those guys. Those are the ones who do whatever they have to do.
And their actions.
Right.
Obviously.
And they're the ones who do everything that they have to do to put a winning product on the field. Those are the people. They fundraise, they get the donors, they get the boosters. Those are the people. So again, you want to turn around and point at the president. Look, this is a dude from Mexico who is a doctor, right? That's his background. He's a medical guy. So yeah, I guess taking it out Julio Frank is probably misguided. But in the end, the successful athletic programs have good athletic directors who do a great job hiring and raising money to hire the right guys to run their program. And look, in the end, the coaching search, the moment Mark Richt retired, was less than 24 hours. And when you operate like that, and Manny Diaz, I'll tell you, I think I said this on my podcast, I might have said it on your show as well. I had a talk with Manny Diaz about this over the summer, and he brought up the fact that I was like, yeah, why didn't they go out and look for more of an experienced head coach in all of this, right? So you wouldn't have the on the job learning, so to speak, that Manny Diaz is going through here. And he took exception with what I had said and written in the past about that. And he's like, look, we're all just guys. That we're all just guys, he talked about. And that's the point. Like, he's right. They're all just guys. And that's what Miami just hires year after year after year. They're all just guys. There's not proven head coaches. There's never the urge to go out and bring in the guy who's going to fix the problem. And until that changes at the foundation, you're going to go through situations like this. You're rolling the dice and hoping that Manny Diaz, Al Golden, Randy Shannon, Larry Coker, whoever is a guy that grows into being a great coach and does a great job recruiting and somehow turns the program around. You're rolling the dice. That's what you go with. That's what's happening.
Okay, so we didn't hear from the administration. Have you been able to reach out to boosters now? And what is their thinking now? Because maybe some of them were delusional in thinking that things were going to change. So if things aren't going to change, I would imagine that boosters are going to change in the way they support the program too.
Well, I mean, look, let's look at the guy with the MMA studio. Okay, he has given hundreds of thousands of dollars to UM's football program. He lets them use their airplane. The three players who went up to ACC Media Days were on his plane. Dan Lanning, right? Right. He has changed his philosophy of giving money to the school to directly to the players through NIL. Now, will that happen more often? I don't know. There's the point person for all money and all things about the program is Blake James.
That's an interesting nugget, by the way. It's a very interesting nugget on your part there, that he has changed his ways, where he's giving it directly to the players because he doesn't feel that the university is going to use it for the purposes that he would like it. So at least by giving it to the players, he knows he's making a difference in their lives.
Now here's the key issue. Here's the key issue. It's how do you get that money into the hands of really good players? Not the guys that Miami has now, but the guys that are going to come in here and become first-round picks, regardless of who the coach is. That's the trickier part. So I think right now with NIL, everything else going on, there's just a lot of people who are like, well, if they're going to continue to perform this way, and there's going to be a level of mediocrity, I'm going to keep my money, and I'm not going to buy season tickets, and I'm not going to go to games, and I'm not going to support this. Now, will that get to the point where the school can't operate anymore? I don't think so. They make a lot of money off the ACC, bro.
Oh, please, yes. Come on,
And
that ACC check,
and it
that ACC check every year pays for their athletic program. They're fine. They're not losing.
So you're asking me, what are the donors and what are the donors' money is still going to the school. It's going to build buildings so that these people put their names on buildings. Like, that's still going to happen.
Yeah.
So again, what's going to change? I don't have an answer for you, because I don't think anything changes.
No, I know, but you and I know this town, and we know what direction they're going in. And I'm telling you, we're going to go back to the late 70s when there was 8,000 people at every game. That's what we're going to get to. And there's not going to be any more big games for the University of Miami anymore. Not that there's really been any. We've made them out to sound like big games, but they're not going to be. And here's the other thing that you fear and you kind of expect. I'm expecting that transfer portal to be really active this offseason in a bad way, actually, for the Canes. That guys are going to be leaving, and guys are going to be decommitting also to this university. While, you talk about the next recruiting class and the next recruiting class, I think your last recruiting class is going to be hurt by all of this, because you're going to have kids transferring out, and your future recruiting classes are going to be absolutely crippled by this kind of stuff, because I don't know how this fan base and even recruits are going to deal with, hey, we're fine being average at best. That's a problem, dude.
I think, it kind of goes twofold, Big O. Number one, I think for a lot of kids nowadays, it's more about the playing time, right? It's more about, hey, I'm going to go to a program. I mean, Maryland is still recruiting good players, right? Like, and what has Maryland done anytime recently?
Ever.
Right? I think things have changed for some kids. Like, you're still going to be able to get enough players to go 7-6, right? Here at Miami. Like, you're still going to get those kind of players. And with this recruiting class in particular, the plan was, hey, we're gonna wait to see what the NCAA does with the scholarships, because of all the leftover kids this year, right? Because you're over the 85 this year with the extra year that everybody got. And we're gonna, in Miami's case, we're gonna try to get elite kids only. We're not gonna take kids that we don't think can play here anymore. Well, part of that was we're gonna prove to them during the season that we're winning and we're heading in the right direction, right? And so we're gonna get kids in December, Shamar Stewart, all these 5-star, 4-star guys locally. Well, if that doesn't happen, it becomes, well, you scramble, right? You go and you end up getting the same type of players you've had here for years, or you go into the transfer portal. And I think Manny Diaz, even though the plan wasn't necessarily to attack the transfer portal, I think he's going to have no choice. And it's going to become, full-fledged free agency here at the end of the season. Now, how many kids are going to leave? I don't know. I think we're going to find that answer out here in the next few weeks, because if he plays James Williams, if he plays Leonard Taylor, if he plays Romello Brinson, if Tyler Van Dyke and Jake Garcia, quarterback this team for more than just this game Thursday night, and you see a youth movement, then maybe a lot of these guys stick around because they're getting that opportunity to play. But we'll see what Manny Diaz does. If he goes out and Gervin Hall's back out there for 60 snaps and James Williams is on the bench and he's sitting there and he's playing 10 to 15 snaps a game, then I think that's when you see the transfer portal pick up and guys take off.
Well, yeah, that's I'm not looking forward to that, because that's going to be where they go a lower level here. All right, Virginia on Thursday, my brother. We won't talk to you till after the Virginia game. I don't think there's an easy game for them anymore. I don't think that exists anymore, unless it's something like Central Connecticut, which is, pretty close to a high school football team that you just played. In fact, I think St. Thomas would kick their ass, actually. Seriously. I mean, I was just watching some of that. But how difficult of a matchup is this for them? What would you be concerned about going into this game?
Well, the good news, I'll start off with the good news. The good news is Virginia's absolutely terrible on defense right now. And they've had issues in the secondary from the end of last season that they didn't really patch up. And so I think from a offensive standpoint, this is the perfect team to play. You're getting Jalen Knighton back this week. He's going to help the running game. So I think, as far as building confidence in the offensive side of the ball, I think it's very good. Defensively, it's a hellacious matchup because they've got a quarterback who's put up some good numbers, and a set of receivers, big guys, big targets down the field. This is going to be challenging for the Bubba Boldens and the James Williams and all the guys in the secondary to wrap up and make the kind of plays that they need to make. And so, but I think Miami, this is a game. Yes, they're favored by 3, and we don't know what's going to happen the rest of the season. But they're at home. Virginia's given up a boatload of points the last 2 games. They've lost both games by 20 points or more. Why shouldn't Miami win this game by 2 or 3 touchdowns? I like this is not a very good Virginia team. Yes, they've got a quarterback who can make plays, but I honestly, if what we saw with some of these young players comes to fruition, and you see Tyler Van Dyke play the way that he did last week, they should win this game comfortably because the guys on the defensive side of the ball for Virginia aren't good. So I think among the games left, this is one of the more winnable games for Miami. I would put Florida State and Duke ahead of them as far as beatable opponents, but I think this is probably the 3rd easiest opponent left on Miami's schedule.
Let's hope so, man. Let's hope they can get it done because UM fans have been through enough. Losing to Virginia is just going to add to a little more heartbreak there. You are predicting that they'll win, right? Is that what you're doing?
I think they win this week. I think, I think Tyler Van Dyke could be a good thing for this offense. So, I think changing things up a little bit, playing without De'Aaron King, I think they were getting a little predictable with what they were doing with De'Aaron King. Right. You get a new quarterback in there, that's something for defense to have to worry about, right? A different style. Rhett Lashley's not going to call the same exact offense he did with De'Aaron because Tyler Van Dyke's not going to take off and run 20 times a game. So you're going to be forced to stay in the pocket, to throw passes, to get rid of the ball quickly. And I honestly think Miami's got good receivers, right? They're just all young. It's Romello Brinson. It's the kid from Palmetto who just scored on that 75-yard touchdown against Central, the explosion that he showed. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's the younger guys. It's Charleston Rambo. Get those guys the football. Let them do their thing.
Brinson, that was a beautiful catch this weekend, dude. That was a highlight for all highlights right there. That's a highlight. He may never have another catch like that ever again in his life. That was sick the way he caught that one. All right, follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. More importantly, catch his work there at The Athletic. He does excellent work. He'll be back here on Friday to hopefully recap a Canes win over Virginia. Manny, as always, appreciate you, my brother. Thank you, sir.
No problem, brother. Talk to you Friday.
You got it. There you go. The great Manny Navarro in a Canes wear, Miami Hurricanes.
This is the Big O Show. This is